Hey guys, how you doing? It's me, Kelly. We are moving on to the second, next part of the doll. Now, I already had taped 10 minutes of me doing it, and for whatever reason, my recording stopped. I don't know why. So I have to start again. It stopped, and then it just kind of, like I couldn't splice it back together. I don't know. It was like an error. It said crypt. I don't know what the heck it said. So let me just go over what I did. I took my folk art light flesh that we've been using, and I took a paintbrush and I dip off the lid and I made her have arms. And what we're going to do in this one is that you try to keep them as even as you can going around. This is still wet here, so I can take this off. When you have acrylic paint, and it's still damp and wet, you can take water on your brush and kind of lift it. Now what you're going to see, and I'll show you, and I'm not worried about it, is right here, you could see that some of the paper that wore off. I'm not worried about it. I don't really care. But anyway, so you want to try to get it as even as you can where the shoulders go. The shoulders are like up here, and then the arms. This is just kind of her arms, and then her hair basically is going to be covering it. We're doing a very loose folk art girl. It's not really necessary to make everything on point and wonderful. It's just to make a cute little doll. You know what I'm saying? So what I also did, so I did that. I started here and did a swirl. Did a swirl. And then down here on the legs, I just took my brush, I do it out of the cap, the paint, and I took it down one. Because I think I'm going to do some fancy socks or something on her. I don't know. Now, one of the things that I said was, as far as the hair goes, you can use, I took some Distress Stickles, Vintage Photo, and I just put some on her hair, and I brushed it through to give it a little bit of sparkle and sheen. You don't have the same color that you used her hair, if you don't have brown or whatever, it's really cool to use white or iridescent or gold or whatever you have. Just add a little interest in there. Or you don't have to add anything. It's up to you, but it's an option. Same with this. I cut out this piece of paper to make it as her dress, to glue it on, to show that, if you're not comfortable, doing a little dress or anything on her, this is a very simplistic way to do it. Remember, we cut the scallops at the bottom. You can keep it straight. You can do whatever you want. Use your imagination. If you don't want to cut out the paper, then just take the color that you want to use as her dress. And, basically, it's a triangle. Paint it on. Leave it dry, and then go from there. So that's another thing that you can do. Very easy, very simplistic. I'm not going for all this realism with this because I want her to be a cute little folk arty doll. You can do, you don't necessarily want the round, face like this. Give her a little neck and then start her dress. So it's up to you. It's yours. Do what you want to do with her. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Now I want to decide what I'm going to do because I have my molding paste, as you can see, all around. It's the Angie's Antics stencils. And I put some molding paste through it. And as I mentioned before in my last video for this, on my website, there are recipes for modeling paste. I call it molding paste, gesso, all kinds of different things that you can make at home with things that you can get from the dollar store or that you might have even in your stash at home, which is baby powder, white glue, and white paint. So it's very, very simple, very easy, and a lot of fun to do, and then you have it. So, and save your spaghetti jars or your glass jars or artichoke jars or whatever. Clean them out, and then you can make it, and then you just put your lid on it. I always put a piece of plastic over before I put my lid on, so it makes it easier to open. And then you have your molding paste or your gesso or whatever you want to have. It saves you tons and tons of money, and I think you'll be more apt to use it because you didn't spend so much on, if you're like me, when I buy more expensive products, I tend not to use them often because I don't want to like use them all up, which is so weird and silly. But I tend to do that. So, you know, I've been trying to get going through all my stash of everything I've had for a long time before it goes bad. Because some of my gel mediums have already went bad. I've had them for years, not used them as much as I wanted to, and there you go. So anyway, so that's kind of where we're at right now. Very simple, very simplistic. So now I'm kind of looking at this, and we have our green and orange, and we have our pink, and I don't know what I want to do in the background here. I don't know. I know I want to paint over the textures that we have here. So I'm going to leave what I got going on with the little girl alone and figure out a color or colors that I want to put in the back. Now remember, with this, the dress itself, you can stamp on it. You can add texture to it. You can draw on it. You can doodle on it. You can paint it a whole different color if you want. You can do whatever you want. In this case, I'm going to leave it alone, but I got to figure out the color that's going to match with green and orange that's not going to take away too much of the color, if that makes sense. I don't know. Now, does that mean that it's going to work for me? No, but we're going to try. So I'm going to try, you know, my new favorite things are these silks, and this is Snapdragon. And it looks kind of blue in my thing because I told you I'm colorblind and I never can fix the blues and the purples. But I hope that you can, it's very, very shiny. When I take a picture of it for Instagram or for whatever, I hope that you're able to see it better. So I'm just going to take my brush and dab it in. And I want to keep the green and the orange, but I want to go over some of the molding paste. So I'm just going to very lightly, almost dry brush, different parts of it. Because I want them all to come through. And you see, and you can wet your brush a little bit to kind of make it, I don't want to say more like watercolor, but it will extend it more. And as you can see, it's kind of picking up on the, let me add a little bit more color here and then wet it. It's picking up more on the molding paste for me, which is what I want. Because like I said, you don't want to mix, you know, you don't want to lose all your color. Now that little part I did on top, and one of the best things to do is hold it up and look at it through a mirror. Look at it through, because I'm seeing here, just want to put a little bit more, yeah. Okay. And it's just picking up. Now I'm going to take my paper towel, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to just dab up off the paper. And you'll see it leaves, it grabs onto that molding piece and the stencils that we used, and it gives it a great punch, but you're still getting that orange through, and you're still getting the green. I couldn't think of the color's name. I'm like, okay. So I'm going to continue down. Now, you can use a bigger brush. You can use bigger, you know, you can go faster, whatever you want to do. I'm going to wet it and just kind of drive it down. You don't have to hit every piece of the paper, the green paper, or anything to that effect. We just want that molding paste to pick up the paint. And use whatever paint you have. Try to keep it acrylic. Try to keep it an acrylic paint, because if you use a watercolor paint, which is perfectly fine, know that it's going to reactivate. So, be aware of that. Don't get upset if, it reactivates or whatever. And this is a very simple mixed media. And I'm going to take a little bit more water, put it in this cap to pull the rest of that out. I know I paint weird. I don't like wasting things. It drives me crazy. And I'm always afraid I'm not going to be able to get any more of something. Even for my giveaways, when I go and find this paint. Now, before this dries, I'm going in with my paper towel just to blot up, because we still want that green and orange to come through, but we want that purple to be on the molding paste. But I always get nervous, like, oh, I'm not going to have, I love it, and I'm never going to be able to have more. And do you see, like, well, I got almost all my purple out of here. Like, you can just pull it on the newspaper we put, the book paper down. And you see how those torn edges just pick that up, like, deliciously? And that's fantastic. You don't have to wipe it up if you don't want. I just dab. Some places it's darker, some places it's lighter. I don't care. Just because I love the whole vibe of it. Now I'm going to be going between her legs. And she said she was a lady. So here we go. Just very simple. And if you don't want to wipe it off, if you like what you're getting and you don't want to wipe, some of that purple off, you can definitely tell that I'm still keeping the green, the green on here and the orange. So we're not losing. Oh, went over the leg. Hey, what's a little purple between friends on a leg? And I'm gonna just take a little bit more. Again, anything you got. Use your Derwent Inktense pencils or blocks, or your folk art paint. If you don't want to use purple, use whatever you want. It is your painting. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go up on here a little bit. I went on her arm a little bit. It's okay. I can go over her arm one more time with the color, the flesh color. No big deal. All right, so you get it. You make sure you go around the dress and you don't forget. And the fun thing is that you can, and I'm going to show you at the end, you can use your watercolor pencils or crayons or whatever you have, and I'll show you. But I like to do that last because I know it's not going to be lifted up and I'm not going to be touching it. I'm just adding a little bit more purple here on the edges where I see that it's not coming through. And we have that. So that's pretty good. And I hit it all over. And these are silks. These are the ones I get at Michael's. And sometimes it's hit or miss. Sometimes they don't have them. And sometimes they do. Now, you see what I did? Now I'm going to try to get the rest of this purple off of my brush. And kind of move it up to give it a little bit of an edge there. But I'll just kind of do like that. Okay. And you can go back and do whatever you want. And like I said, you can tap it. It gives it texture too, and you're good to go. So here we are so far. Here we are so far. Now you see how that back's coming? Now you can see I painted her. I did not lay anything on her, and you can see the textures coming through. I like it. It's a different type of look. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Now, what I'm going to do is look at it, and I might want, I haven't quite decided, but I might want a little, I'm trying to think. I love this green. I know I have a color green like this. Do I want to do that with the green? Do I want to add something here? I don't know. That is the question. But for now, I'm going to paint in her, the white of her eyes. I'm going to use, and see if this will work, the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen. This is white 101. And I'm just going to go in and give her some whites in her eyes, just to make that green pop. And you want to make sure that the acrylic paint is dry. Yeah. It makes such a difference. And I'm just going to give her a little dot of sparkle, the light reflection. And see how that makes her eyes pop? Nothing fancy, just very, very cool. And now I think I want, let's work on her legs. What colors do I want? I want to stay away from purple. Maybe, let's see if I can get, this is my Jelly Roll, and this is, doesn't say the color. It looks pink to me. Jelly Roll. Let's see if we can get this bad boy working. Because what I want to do is put lines. And I'm going to make them thick. And I'm going to color them in. But I don't know if that's going to do what I want it to do on there. I might have to use paint. Yeah, I'm going to use paint. I shall use the paint. Do I want a bright paint, or do I want her socks to be funky? I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take orange. Come here, little orange. Okay, I'm going to take some orange and pink, and that's where I'm rocking it to. Shake it up. I'm going to take my pink. Any color pink you have, whatever you have. If you don't want to do pink, do whatever colors you want. Because it's your little girl. This is just what I'm doing. I don't like the jelly mark on there. So I'm just going to kind of take this down and kind of judge it a little bit. I'm not worrying about perfection at all. I'm not worrying about the texture underneath, nor am I worried about the paint because it's dry. Yeah, and see, so far. And now we'll do this leg. And you can even start opposite colors on the other. You know, my daughter doesn't wear the same socks. She hasn't worn the matching socks, I think, since she was able to put socks on herself. Makes them easy for laundry to fold, because I just throw them all in her drawer, and she just picks whatever's there. I used to spend such time pairing them up and folding them and doing all that, and then I would see that she wasn't wearing them. But that's her gig. That's her thing. Okay, so I got her a little stripy little socks. Now I got a little pink left on my brush. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll just kind of just add a little color here and there. Put a little water on it. No big deal. Just so it spreads a little bit more. And it's just going to pull from her, it's going to pull from her dress. Put some more on here. Pull some down here. It doesn't matter. Just going to add a little bit. You see what I'm saying? It brings it together. And if you want, you could take more of that pink, and maybe we will, and we'll just do little scatters down here and there. Who knows? I don't know. Now let's go for the orange. This is just called orange. Orange Pyrrole. Pyrolle. Pyrrole. Pyrrole. And take that. I hate when it gets the skin on it. I'm sorry, I'm peeling the skin off the paint. Oh, no, squeezed a little out of there, so we'll just use that. Now I'm going to do orange. I'm going to do orange up in her privates. Not her privates, but up there. And then between here, and between here, and between here, and down here. And then we'll get a little bit more. We'll go over here. We'll do it right there. Do it right there. You just do it. You just pull it, you know, like a brush size over. It doesn't have to be even as the pink or anything fancy. Just get that color on there. And I'll hold it up so you can see. One thing I have learned is the more you mess around with color, you know, like, oh, I should do this, I should try that. Sometimes it'll screw it up. So let me show you. You just want it to be simplistic and have, you see what I'm saying? Now I'll go and draw, I'll straighten those little socks out, but I'm not worrying about them right now. Now you can take orange and put polka dots here. You can put your paint down, squirt a little bit on your mat, your parchment paper, wax paper, whatever you're working on, and take, you know, a Q-tip or a little, you know, whatever, and just dot it everywhere you want. It doesn't matter. I don't know what I'm going to do, but what I am going to do is I'm going to take some of this orange, I'm going to wet it a little bit, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of run some of the orange, and I'm not worrying too much. It's just a matter of blending it in so you see that little bit of color. And it's okay if you go over the molding piece and your, you know, what you put on there. It's definitely okay. And you can see that it's much brighter here. Now, I'm using my little paintbrush. Maybe I should rinse it out and use my bigger one, just so it kind of spreads better. And it's almost a red color mixing with all the other colors, which kind of pulls out this color. So it's all fun. It's all fun. So, like I said, my tip for you is when you're doing this and you're trying to, you know, don't be afraid to start adding colors. And because it's mixed media and you can use different medias on here, different acrylics, watercolors, watercolor crayons and pencils, and all that goes along with it, you can bring in more color. You don't have to be afraid. But make sure that when you do, like, as far as we've gotten this far, make sure that you, I don't know why my camera is just, like, weirdly off. You know, make sure you save those water-soluble things until the end for the touch-ups. So you know that you're not going back in and going to mess anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, reconstitute or mess anything up. Now, I know that my arm here got a little something something on it, and I'm not really too concerned about it, but I'm just going to take my small brush, put it in my little cap there, and just give it a one more over. Just so it's a little bit more transparent. Okay, my dog's crying to get out, of course. Just wait a second, Nico. All right. So now I'm going to hit it with the heat gun and get these legs dried. And her arms. Now maybe you have a stamp. Maybe you have a stamp that you want to stamp in here. Maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm going to try. I just want these to be dry first. And don't waste your time literally on drawing parts that you're not working on right now. If that makes sense. Like, we're not really going to be working on this right this second. So, you know, you don't have to worry about fully drawing it. But for her arms, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do one of two things. I love this freaking octopus. It's a sin. I love it. I'm either thinking about either stamping this down or just attaching this. And I think I might just attach this and then give him an eye. Just poke a little eye in there. I think that might be what I do. Because I love it. I love it. And I think if I would stamp it, you would just miss all that deliciousness. What way do I want them to lay, though? Like that? No, I want them to lay this way. So I'm going to put glue on the back. So I'm just going to move this for a second. I'm going to put him right there. I'm going to take my glue stick. Now, you can use your white school glue, your Mod Podge, whatever you have. I'm just going to use my extreme glue stick. Everybody has their own favorite glue sticks. And like I said, you can definitely glue this down with hot glue or whatever you got. All right, Nico, I know you went out, honey. You're just gonna have to wait a minute. Okay, so let me bring this back. And I want it to kind of cover. It's going to hang off, and there's a little bit of the glue stick that came through. So I'm just going to give it a little smear. You know it dries clear, so we're not worried. I'm going to give it a smear. You know it dries clear. What? Yep. I did a rhyme. And I'm just going to push it down with my paper towel here so it doesn't stick to my fingers. And then I'm just going to take a pen. You can take whatever you want. And just going to give it 2 dots for an eye. I'm not worrying too much. It's just a funky little octopus, but I want him to have little eyes. But what I am going to do is let my dog out real quick, and then I'm going to hit it with some purple to make it pop. Hit it with some purple. Okay. I'm coming. I feel like I'm 90 today. Okay. Alright, so we got our little thing there. Now, this can be a sticker. You can just do a stamp. Excuse my arm. You know, I love me some spiders. It could be like if I was making this creepier. I just love creepy. But anyway, she's just going to be holding her pet octopus. All right? Okay. But what I want him to be is what I want to do first is cover my glue stick because I've done that many times and then came back and what do you know? Try it out. So I'm going to take an ink pad. Any ink pad will do. This is my purple one. And this is sitting up somewhat. So I'm just going to kind of hit it. So it kind of pops off. I don't have to cover all of it. You don't have to cover all of it. But you can use a sticker. You can use a bead. You can use whatever you want. This is just a die cut that I had cut out to make a stamp out of. And when I saw it with this, I thought, that's what I want to use it for. But I want to show you it can be anything. It can be a button. It can be a homemade bead that you made. It can be whatever you want it to be. because it's yours. Now this is just fun foam that I cut this out of. I cut a lot of fun foam out of my Big Shot and make stamps and all kinds of fun stuff because I love it. So then we got that, and you can see how it pops out a little bit more. Now, I don't know. I'm going to see if this is going to work. I'm just going to wet my little brush for a minute and see if I can make this a little more stronger of a color, which it seems like it is. And you never know until you try, so always try. The only thing that would happen is if you did it and it didn't brighten up like this or become a little bit watercolory, is it would be what it was, and it wasn't bad what it was. So never like think, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna screw it up. You can't screw it up. And if you screw it up, you just fix it. It's called going another direction. And I'm not worrying. I see I touched my brush down. I'm not worrying about it. I'll rinse my brush. I'll pat it basically dry. And then I'll go in where I see that I dropped that little thing and I just clean it up. While it's wet, it cleans up. And I love how some of it soaks into the divots and other parts it doesn't. And you can put more, you know, you can go in. You can use paint. You don't have to use an ink pad. You can just use paint and do this. It's just fun. And it's fun to do with the kids. I mean, really think about it. And if you draw, let's say you have kids or grandkids and you, what do I want to do? You want to maybe draw like this girl or a girl like it your way. Whatever you draw, whatever you do, put it through the scanner printer. You know, I have one of those all-in-one, and print out a bunch of her. And then when your grandkids come, you can have them color and then add it to a piece of paper or just color and have fun. You know, it's just fun to do. I can add rhinestones on this. I can really go all out. But I'm pretty happy with her. I will tell you one thing I don't like, and I'm going to fix it right now, because some of it rubbed off right here of her dress. So I want her dress to be, I'm just taking a nail file, because I want it to kind of look a little more worn than it is, if that makes sense. You know, I mean, I use the crap out of this, and it ain't for my nails, as you know. It'll just lighten up certain pieces. And what's really fun, we'll do down the road, is when you crumble it. You crumble that paper up, and then you open it up, and you glue it down, and then you go over, and I don't think we need my dog's hair on there. And you just kind of want to rough it up a little bit. So it just, you know, I made a mistake here. I took it off. It came off. Am I going to boo-hoo and fuss over it? Nope. I'm just going to roll with it. And was like, yep, I meant to do that. And you can get emery board so cheap at the dollar store. You can get like a 10-pack for $1. And that's all you need. You don't have to have, you know, anything fancy. Okay, so now we're kind of here. And if you have a hair dryer, it's different. You can use a hair dryer for this. But if I use my heat gun on this foam, it's going to, number one, it'll probably melt it. And number two, all these indentations and whatnot in the octopus will be lifted. So I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to dry that. Now, I'm happy with her. I'm good. I want to take, I think I'm going to take my pen that I use. Do I want to use my pen? Maybe I'll use my dark brown. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just outline her socks to give it a little bit more structure. Now you can use an orange or a pink pen, but I'm going to go in and line. And I'm not caring that it's not perfect or going all around, you know, looking very solid or anything like that. It's just like a little sketch of a little separation of the color. No big deal, just to bring the color brown in. My brown doesn't want to work now. Being a complete asshole. The brown. Let's see if I can get it down here. A little bit. Just to keep that structure somewhat in. It doesn't matter if your paint goes outside of it or not. I probably should wait till everything's completely dry, but obviously I'm not. That would make things a lot easier for me. I'm going in. Just a little bit of that. It just gives it a little definition. And always try to remember to clean your pens off, your markers off when you're using them on here, no matter what marker or pen you're using, because if it picks up any of the waxiness or from the acrylic paint and it dries on here, you're not going to get, you know, you always just want to make sure it's clean for when you go to use it the next time. So I kind of got that. Now, oh, something else you can do too. Like with her arms, for instance, you can go, I don't know why I picked up the same marker. I got to pull the thing out and switch it, but all right, we ain't using that goddamn thing. You just sit there, mister. What are you? Are you a marker? Let's see. Yeah. You can go in and just kind of outline her arms a little bit. Nothing fancy. Just to give it like a little structure. You know? Nothing big. It's just outlining it. I like outlining. Some people don't. I could outline every bit on here that I've done because I really dig it. Some people don't. And if you don't, then don't do it. I'm just showing you what you can do. Right? So I got her little arms and let me go down this a little bit more just to make it a little bit more pronounced. Because that's what we're doing, is just giving it a little bit. I don't know where the hell I got this pen, but I'm liking it. Marker, rather. What is it? Brown, that's all it says. Le Pen by Marvy. Le Pen. I really don't need much there. I'm just going to kind of go in a little bit. Sketch it in a little bit. You can go in and doodle in these little socky areas. You can do whatever you want. It is fun. Okay, so then we're going to go, I'm going to do her little nose. Just going to kind of trace that. And her eyes. Because I want them pronounced. I did the white. And remember, we got the texture underneath, so don't beat yourself up and, oh, this, that, the other. I don't know what that means, but just don't do it. And I have, look at that. The octopus stamped me. Cute. You crazy octopus, you. Let me see if I can stamp. Let's see. No, this is just me being goofy right this moment. How you like me now? Stamp my octopus. I'll probably have to go back in with more paint, but it's okay. And then we have his eyes, and we can draw his big circle eyes because I want him to have big circle eyes and a dot in the middle. I want him to look kooky because I'm kooky. Good, good, good. Happy, happy, happy. Now, here's where you decide what you want to do next. Now, I know I'm going to go over this with purple, and it's probably going to be a watercolor crayon. I'm not going to lie. Where are my watercolor crayons? What do I have in here? That's why I couldn't find any of my markers or my pens, because they're in here. Let me grab. I love these card Neocolors, the watercolor crayons, Neocolor from Cardin Nash or whatever they're called. I've had them for years. Love, love, love them. I don't use them as much because I'm afraid I'm going to use them up. However, they are great because what you can do is wet the crayon itself. And then I can kind of go here. I know I'm not going back in this, but it's really going to give me that deep purple that I want. Deep purple. Dun, 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 dun. And you can see. And you can do this with whatever watercolor crayon that you have. I have Reeves. I have Derwent. You can use a colored pencil and wet the tip and do it. I do that all the time with the watercolor pencils. That's what I did. And you just kind of work it around. I know I'm being quiet because I'm trying to concentrate so I don't bore the shit out of you. Okay. All right, and then that'll dry. Now remember, this is one of those things that if you re-wet it, it's gonna, you know, on here, it's gonna smear. And you don't want it to smear. So we're going to leave it go. And I can fix up his little eyes later. I might even find me some googly eyes. I don't know. But I want him to have little eyes just so he can say hello. So here we go. So we can put a quote over here. We can put a saying over here. We can draw a tree over her. We can do a stamp of something. We can do whatever you want. What do we want to do? I can't decide. I would like to do, I love doing trees because I'm a tree freak. But it would have to be behind her. She has an octopus. I don't know. Where do I want to put a saying? I know I'm thinking. I'm very quiet. I'm trying to think. Because I love this texture underneath. Now I would hate to put a tree over it because I love the way it picks up all the different colors. Like you see how this one dried. Like you just have like a lot going on. And she's your main thing, so she's coming out at you. I want to put I have horrible handwriting. That's the only thing that sucks. Do I have my big? I don't know if I have my big ones. Maybe I'll use these. These are a little bigger stamps. I could get my big ass stamps out, but I don't know if I feel like doing that. Well, if we can't get these open, we're not doing anything. Now, see, I think these are going to be too small for that anyway. Let me see if I can find them real quick. I know, nothing's easy. Stencils. Stamps. I'm talking to myself and the dogs for making some noise here. Isn't that hysterical? Okay, where are my stamps? Because that would be helpful. Bet you they're way over there. Alright, let me think of something else. Oh, crap. I don't want to. That's why you prepare, Cal. You prepare for things. Oh, okay, you're getting ripped apart. I gotta open them. I wound up having to go into a bag. So let me just pick my letters here. Let's do B, E, B, R, A, B. And we'll start that up there first. And we will use our denim color because that'll go with the blue. I know, I'm all into this Be Brave stuff lately because life has really been sucking. So let's try this. Let's see if it even works. I went backwards. How did I do that? Look, the B is that way, but when I put it down, it's backwards. Isn't that bizarre? I don't know. So that would be B, and then that is bizarre that those go upside down like that. I'm going to put another B there. I need the A. Little dot. It'll just be backwards. B. This is going to suck. I should have just did it with my shitty handwriting because these are all backwards. A. V. I'm kind of just doing it like functified. Where the hell did my E go? Alright, I'm not digging this. Alright, we're just going to put those little bad boys away. Not happy. Mama's not happy. Alright, so we're just going to... I ripped this apart and destroyed it. I don't know why lately all the letter things are backwards. Like, who would put the B like that? That's disgusting. Okay. This is what we're going to do. This is what we do. Mama. And I'm going to take the bigger brush and just kind of float it. Just to bring some of that color over here. So we're not wasting, are we? We're just making it more brighter. Okay. Let me dry that for a second. I'm very sorry. All right. So that was an epic fail. Let's see what we could do here. dry. Let me let it cool off for a second. I think we're going to go a different way. Still a little damp, but this was in my horoscope today. Love the life you live. And you can be fancy and, you know, do all kinds of little fanciness there or whatever. That was in my horoscope. Love the life you live. And then I think that's all I'm going to do. The only other little thing I want to do is, oh my God, my dog. I live in a mental institution, I swear. I had to give my one dog this morning, who cries when I eat because he thinks that he needs to eat everything that I eat. Gave him up. My husband thought, well, okay, you know what? Let's just give him a little bone. He'll eat by himself. No. He kicked the bone off the couch, went to the floor. My Pekingese got it, who I love to death, but he doesn't bite anybody. But you hear him? He guards the bones. Now he has this little teeny little bone piece, and he guards it. So anybody who comes near him, he ain't having it. Why'd I pick brown? I don't know. It's because I was thinking about the damn dog. All right. I love him, but he can be a little crazy sometimes and drive me insane. Insane! All right. Here we go. I picked up the wrong color because I was thinking of something else. So I'm going to use this color. It's called Bordeaux Red. And I'm going to take it, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dip in a little bit of water, the tip. And I'm going to go around her dress. And I'm going to take my finger, and I'm just going to kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm going to dip it again. Anybody watching Big Brother? Or is it just me? I know The Killing starts August 1st on Netflix. Can't wait. This is just going to frame this out. So I'm going to just take a little bit of water on my finger. You can use a Q-tip if you feel creepy using your finger. Doesn't matter to me. I'm creepy anyway. So I think the next piece I'm going to do is a creepy one anyway. And you can just go in there. Like I said, use a Q-tip, use whatever. Just get some color in there. And then if you get a little bit over on the edge here, you see, you know, I just kind of take it and like kind of sweep it away. Doesn't matter. Because I really just want it on her dress. I'm going to wet it one more time. Just a little bit. You don't have to submerge it. Just to kind of get it to get a little milky. And just go back and rub it. It gives it a little depth and color. Doesn't matter how far in you go. And just have a little bit of fun. Now you could put this on your paintbrush too. So don't worry. You don't want to use your finger. You can just wet your paintbrush and take paint off off the crayon. And I'm just going to rub it in there. A little depth. A little something, something. Now you can continue on with eyelashes. If you want to do rosy cheeks on her, by all means, go ahead. The one thing I might do is make the letters a little bit bolder, a little thicker, I guess. And you don't have to. It's just something. I am not a fancy writer. My hands don't cooperate. My brain don't cooperate. But I like a little curlicues once in a while. But I just want it a little thicker. So I'm going to turn it upside down so I don't lay my arm in that the wet ink there. And you can, like I said, you can stamp this. Should have got my bigger stamps out. Write it. You know what you could do? You could type it out and print it out on your computer and then just glue the paper down, which I've done that a gazillion times as well because I don't have very good handwriting. Okay. And that's pretty much where we're at. This is it. You can go in, you can outline. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but this is just the basic, and look how simplistic and easy it is. And you just do everything on here. You don't have to worry, you know. I don't know. It's just fun and easy. So this is basically the next one. So if, now let's say, I know a lot of people like to edge their papers. And you just kind of rub stamp pad or whatever you got around the corners, you know, on the edges, just to give it a little more of a look. And that's it. Again, if you have some, I don't think I have anything here. If you have some what's it called? Rhinestones, if you have a little flower, if you have a bow, if you make, I know so many of you make your own flowers, just glue it in her hair on one side. If you want to color in her little eyes, you know, like a little eyeshadow or do whatever, then go ahead. You want to give her little pink cheeks, go ahead. You know, you could put a piece of jewelry in here so she's holding that. I wanted to do an octopus. You can do whatever you want to do. And this is a very simplistic mixed media piece because, like I said, you know, we still have that stencil with the molding piece coming through. So you still see all that great, it's almost like a grungy background, which I love. So, and you see the little legs. Nothing perfect. It's fun. It's what it is. And I love making them. They make me happy. And this, like I said, I did the first one, which is right here. I did not finish yet. But I already know what I'm going to do for her. And then this one, remember, we cut her out, put her on, did the whole thing. And then this one, we did, and we did her on here, and you get to see the texture come through and everything. It's really, really cool, and you can just go on for a long time of adding and doing, and I'm always looking for stickers on sale or rub-ons at the craft stores constantly, whether they're on clearance or on sale or whatever, because I do like to go and do rub-ons and stuff like that, and I don't care if they don't all the way come off or whatever. I just kind of like to mix it up some. Now, a few pointers. Like I said, you know, I got orange here, ransom orange, you know, here, orange in her little legs. We got our pink, and we have our pink that we kind of did here. We have the purple. We have, so you kind of bring everything together with your colors. And you can see they're not muddy. They're not anything. I get so many questions about muddiness and why they're getting muddy, why people are getting muddiness. And for one, you have to make sure that your layers are dry before you move on. And number two, certain colors just automatically make mud when you put them together. They make brown. So you can see that we have two complete, well, you could see if I cleaned my desk and I had a room, if you really want to. You can see that we have basically two, excuse me, Mod Podge, please. Why do you have to be right all up in my grill? Oh my God. That we have two different colors. Two different, completely different colors, two different pages, two different styles. And, you know, like I said, I already know what I'm going to do on here, so I'm going to finish that. And this one's finished, and I'm very happy. So any questions, ask. Very simplistic, very easy, and you can, I mean, really sit and do this. And like I said, if you draw a little girl, I think I even have on my website something you can print out that I had drawn and make your own. But, you know, you have grandkids or kids or whatever, and you want them to sit in color. You know, you want to make this a boy, you let them, you know, because we put the hair on. Remember? We didn't cut any hair out. We just painted on her face. So they can put their own hair on. So if they're a boy and they want to make boy hair, let them make boy hair. If it's a little girl, let her make little girl hair. It doesn't matter. So this is the one that we just finished. Totally different technique, totally different skills. And she's holding an octopus like, hello. And this is the one we did last week, where we did the background and everything first, and then we painted her and added her on. So if you like these kind of videos and you like, you know, watching me and everything, please give me a thumbs up. I really, 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 really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all you have to do is ask. You can leave them down in comments. You can contact me on YouTube, Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Where else am I? Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook. Yeah. And on YouTube. So just ask the questions. So I'm going to finish this up, and I'm going to put these both up for sale. They're only on paper, so they can be framed. You can go to Walmart and get a very cheap $5 frame, and you can even snazz that up yourself. And I'm going to, you know, do those. I have a few other things I'm going to put up for sale, and nothing expensive, just to get some stuff out there, because I haven't sold in a very, very long time, and see how it goes. Might not go well. I don't know. But like I said, you can find the gesso and the molding piece and all those recipes on my website, and which is knittingandthings.com. And you can also keep your eyes out for the next giveaway. Our one giveaway just ended, and I'm going to be having another giveaway because I have a lot of stuff to give away. And that's about it. So I want to thank you guys so much for being so supportive and so wonderful and all your messages. And I'm very grateful. And thank you to everybody who has sent me things that I've not been able to personally thank lately, because I just haven't been able to really get on the computer and do anything. Not feeling well today as well, but I wanted to get and make the last video for this. And I thought instead of making it in 2 parts, I'm just going to finish it up. And that's about it. So thank you guys so very much. And check out my website, knittingandthings.com. I'm going to start doing different recipes, all kinds of different things I got going on. Because of my kidneys and everything, my eating has to change dramatically. So, you know, I'm going to be experimenting with food. So I'm going to probably be writing a lot about that, maybe whining, I don't know. And be kind to each other because you never know what battle somebody else is fighting. And I hope you all have a great Sunday. And I will see you again, hopefully soon. I hope to be able to make a video maybe tomorrow. We shall see. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for being so supportive. Thank you. And thank you to everybody who has donated to me. I appreciate it greatly. I don't want to call out people by their name because I don't know if they would be embarrassed or whatever, but you know who you are, and thank you so much for donating to me because it helps so much because I have so much going on, and I'm going to do a blog post probably about it soon, but life has not been easy lately. So thank you guys.